So guys, today we're going to be unboxing the Galaxy S22 Plus. This is a refurbished one, and you can find these for roughly around $370 to $400, and this one's supposed to be in excellent condition. Check it out. See, it's a pretty interesting, older flagship to consider here, and this one is in really good condition. Yeah, almost flawless, actually. Yeah, it is excellent condition. I don't see any scratches or anything on it. Yeah, pretty much brand new looking. And of course, at the bottom here, you get a generic, charger, and looks like a USB Type-C cable. Alright guys, we got the S22 Plus all set up here, and I want to talk about the price of this phone. So it's trending on Amazon and eBay pretty much for $430, and there's a lot you might like about this phone over the S22 Ultra. If you're in the, trying to spend like a little bit more money, I know typically people like to spend like $200 to $300, but if you're in that $400 price range, you can get an S22 Ultra. But one thing that I noticed about those phones is that, one, they're going to be just a little bit more expensive, but two, not everybody likes the curved display and not everybody likes the boxy design. So I want to go ahead and actually talk about that with just using this phone. This phone is really comfortable to hold compared to the S23, S22 Ultra. It has that more boxier feel, and this one has a more curved feel to it, and it fits really well in the palm. It is a glass and metal phone, of course, and it is IP68 dust and water resistant. It has that matte finish on here, and honestly, this is just a really comfortable phone to hold. So that's the main thing that I actually really like about this phone so far. Alright, so the next best thing about this phone is actually the display. So it has a completely flat display, which I know a lot of people prefer over like the curved displays that you would find on the S23 and S22 Ultra. So it's a really nice display to look at. It's a 6.6-inch display, so it's a big display. It is dynamic AMOLED, 120 Hz HDR10+. It's very bright at 1750 nits peak brightness, so if you're taking it outdoors in direct sunlight, it does a really good job with being able to view everything on the screen. It is a 1080p display, and it is $393 for the PPI. And honestly, it looks really good. Now, the S23 Ultra does have a 1440p display, but honestly, if you're not really like watching actual 1440p content, you can't really tell the difference between screen quality. So I know that was like a question, but honestly, like actually looking at the screen from this distance, I can't really tell a big difference from this in a 1440p display. Like I said, you would have to really look and like pull up a 1440p video to get that little extra detail. But the screen alone looks really sharp. It looks really good. Next, I wanted to touch on gaming on the S22 Plus, and it's really good on here. So you are running the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on here, and then you also have 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM on the base model. So for games like PUBG or pretty much anything you play, you're able to run at 90 frames on PUBG here, and it's just a really good gaming experience as well too. And I'm not having any type of real heating problems with this phone as well. So overall for gaming, it's really good, and I actually think I've been getting a better performance with One UI 5.1 with the latest update. So this phone hasn't gotten the Android 14 update yet. So I'm curious to see, because that performance on Android 14 One UI 6 has actually been really good on the S23. So I'm expecting this phone to get even faster. But yeah, so performance on here is just a beast. So if you're trying to game on the S22 Plus, it'll knock pretty much any game out. Emulators, whatever you pretty much throw at it, is going to do a really good job. Here are the actual Geekbench scores running Android 13 One UI 5.1, and you can see this phone does a fantastic job with performance. It's just really snappy. It feels no difference from the S23 Ultra, and like I said, I only expect this phone to pretty much get faster as it gets more updates. But yeah, it has pretty much everything you could want. Samsung desktop support, all of your flagship features, of course, are going to be here. So you're not really missing out on anything. Wireless power sharing, secure folders, all that good stuff is going to be here. And like I said, this phone will be getting a lot of updates because it does qualify for Samsung's extended update period as well too. So overall, for performance, it's just blazing fast. All right, so this phone does have stereo speakers. Let's go ahead and check them out. Yeah, so the speakers on here are decent, but it sounds like it has the same speakers as the S22 Ultra, which you guys know I'm not a big fan of at all. I think it's some of Samsung's worst speakers, really weak. And this one does not have a lot of bass in it as well. It sounds almost just like it. Just not a lot of bass, and yeah, it just does not sound... Yeah, to me it sounds a little bit flat in comparison to something like the S23 Ultra, or even the S21 Ultra felt like it had a louder, fuller sound to it. So again, the speakers are not bad by any means, but just not like, I don't think they're like super good. But yeah, so this phone has the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, and that works really fast, and you can use the face unlock as well too, of course. Alright, so for the cameras, you're getting still a top tier flagship camera. They pretty much look like S23 photos, honestly, just taking pictures with it. It's got a 50 megapixel standard and a 10 megapixel telephoto. It does 3 times optical zoom. And like I said, if you put the pictures side by side, they don't really look that different. It's got a 12 megapixel ultra wide as well. It can shoot up to 8K 24, and then it has a 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60. The shots on here are phenomenal, whether it be the selfie cam or just taking, regular shots. Even in lower light conditions, it's still taking some awesome photos. Really good ultra wide shots on here. Like I said, really good selfie cam on here. I absolutely love the cameras on here. I think they're fantastic. And like I said, you're getting, basically S23 cameras still for, $400. It's a really good deal, especially the video on here is really solid too. So again, as far as quality wise, when it comes to the cameras, you're still getting excellent cameras. You're still getting that punchy color that Samsung gives you. And like I said, just very consistent lenses. When you're doing 3 times, you still get a lot of zoom on here. And overall, just excellent cameras, guys. Alright, lastly, I want to touch on battery life. So I was actually pretty impressed with the battery life on this phone, mostly because I thought it was going to be like the S22 Ultra, but you got to remember, this phone does not have a 1440p display, and it seems like the battery life is just better on this phone. I've been like gaming and installing updates, taking photos and videos and stuff, and the battery life has been pretty good on this device. So it's got a 4500 milliamp hour battery. It has 45 watt charger, which is pretty decent, so it charges decently fast as well. And then of course you have the wireless and reverse wireless charging as well too. And yeah, I don't have any issues with the battery life on here. It's really good, guys. So yeah, this is a phone that I really like. Like I said, if you were looking for an older flagship, but you didn't want to, go too old with like a Note 20 Ultra or, a S21 Ultra, because you could get the S21 Ultra over this phone. It is cheaper, but this phone, like I said, has a newer chip. It will have, at least a little bit longer updates. It's got the completely flat display, which I know a lot of people like. And yeah, so it's a pretty good option. I want to know what you guys actually think about this phone in particular. So be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.